This time on the Austin Healey channel, Season 1's back in the shop for a new rocker assembly, some steering box lube, and a long lost part finds its way home. Well, look who's back in the shop. It's been a couple weeks since it's been here, quite a few weeks now. I put some miles on it just driving around town, found some things I need to change, things I need to adjust, which, you know, this is typical after a full restoration to, you know, you need to bring things back in alignment, tune it up, and so we're gonna play with it and get it running in its top condition. I guess it probably would be a good idea to tell you what I'm doing. The rocker assembly, this along the top of the engine in Austin Healey's is prone to leaking. What happens, there's oil that goes up through holes and into these assemblies, and when the bushing gets worn out, the oil just pours out and it basically fills up the entire rocker cover, way more than it should, and it can come out that pipe that goes over to the air filter and clog things up. It can also lower your oil pressure within the engine and things like that. So I've ordered a new rocker assembly, a remanufactured one, and I'll take this one off and send it in, and then this should all be running better. So what we're gonna have to do is take it off. There's a gap that's set between here and the little arms, the rods that go up and down. So we'll have to set those, kind of guessing what they will be, and then run it again. Run it, warm it up, and reset them to what they're supposed to be. They look the same. There's not a lot visually different. I think these are aluminum, but visually they look the same, which is good. That's a good thing. The difference should be the The bushings all milled to the, I guess reamed to the right dimension. So oil passes through but doesn't squirt through. Putting this screw in here, you have to be very, very careful. The reason is this is aluminum, the threads are super fine, and it's super easy to cross thread it. So let's see if we can cross thread it. What's going on, there's a shaft that goes across here. There's a hole in the top of it, and the hole's not quite lined up. I don't know if I need to loosen all these and go at it again and align it. I think I'm going to give that a try. There we go. Alright, that's a pain. I don't know if it was necessary to loosen the rocker stands, but I think it helped. Let's tighten it up again. I finally get to use this handy little gadget my father gave to me. It's going to hold this set screw while you tighten down this, and then you're able to set the depth of the valve lash. On the Sprite, when we set the valves, we had the rule of 9, but that's because it was a 4-cylinder engine. On a 6-cylinder, we have the rule of 13. So we find the valve that's down, and that would be this one. It's a little hard to tell because this is backed up all the way, but this is down. This is number 8. and we need to go up to 13. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is number 1. So we need to adjust it until it has, well, what do we adjust it to? The engine's cold. We can't warm it up without running it, and it won't run without adjusting these. So we're going to adjust it to 14 thou. So just under here, I'll use a feeler gauge and get it to 14,000. And why 14,000? Well, it says 12, but when the engine's hot, and when things heat up, they expand. So we're gonna add a couple thousandths just to allow for that expansion. It's kind of an educated guess. Then we'll be able to start the engine, warm it up, and once it's warm, we'll go back and check everything. But right now, it's like quarter inch maybe. So we've got a long way to go. Now we can use my handy dandy tool. There. Has just a little bit of friction. Now we just have to do all the others. It's warm, we're gonna set it to 12, but I'm not gonna make you watch it. I've given up on the sealed beams, and I'm going to have to put in some new ones. One of the things I should have done earlier on was dig deeper into the steering box. So after I started driving it, I realized that the steering wheels has a lot of play in it. So what I wanted to do was to adjust this. Problem is, nut was seized. This is the tensioner, and then this is the lock nut. The lock nut was seized in place. So I couldn't get it while it was in the car, so I pulled just the top out of the car. And in doing that, I found this motor oil. Well, I think it's motor oil. I'm not entirely sure. It's disgusting. It's thick. Let me show you. So it's a whole lot like molasses. Well, a little thinner than that. Hot molasses, how about that? The problem is it's certainly not as thick as what should be in the car. I used my brake bleeding kit to suck it out of the box in place. So now I'm going to be able to replace it with correct lubrication, and then I'll be able to adjust this, and all will be good and right in the world. Does anyone remember this bracket? This was the one thing I couldn't find a place for. Somebody came across my video and said, "Hey, I know where that goes," and told me where it goes, so we're gonna put it in now. Where it goes is this way, up under the dash. This bolts in here at the window post, and the other one goes in at the steering column clamp, if that makes sense. So we've got the 2 points. It's it's the last piece I had not found a home for. So I'm glad to finally figure out where it goes. So I can't remember the name of the person who told me where it goes, but well, I could look it up. But thank you very much. I've got the best community. There, I think you can see it. This is the steering wheel here. There's me. There's the bracket. That's where it goes. Right there. I parked mine here to get some advertising. And look what parked next to me. It's beautiful. Season 1's been running kind of rough in the higher RPMs. Well, really rough. So I checked the vacuum advance and it's not working. So I'm going to show you that, how to test it, and then we're going to replace it. First, you loosen this. That comes off. Then you can take your sucker and put it on here, and when it sucks, see how it doesn't hold any vacuum? With my thumb on it, it does, but just within here, it doesn't. So that means the vacuum of the diaphragm within here has gotten too old and cracked and is no longer working. Therefore, it needs replaced. So let's go about replacing it. So we're going to pop off the distributor cap. There's little arms on each side. If I can get to them. All these pesky wires out of the way. Let me show you with the vacuum again what happens. So this spins around and it hits one of these wires and it sends a spark. And when the engine speeds up, it needs to spark a little bit earlier than before. It needs to advance. So when I pump on this, it moves this ever so slightly, which isn't enough. It should be moving it considerably. Be moving it a lot. So it's not advancing the timing as it should. Next, we're going to figure out what all we have to take apart to get the vacuum advance unit in there. So down here is an adjustment knob. It's on these threads, so I know it needs to come off. Alright, so we're going to take this out. And then see how many screws we have to pull out to get this plate to lift up. Now it's out. New one slides in. And this is supposed to have a spring clip on here to keep it in place. Mine is missing, and the new one didn't come with one, so we're gonna put a little piece of wire on it. Alright, the new one's in. There's a little scale here that I've set right to the middle, so I'll be able to adjust both ways. And check this out. The vacuum gauge all the way down there. When I suck it up, this advances, which is wonderful. And look, it doesn't lose, it doesn't leak. So that's wonderful. Now the vacuum advance will advance as it should. Yeah, that's so cool. Right, now I have thoroughly screwed up the timing, so I'll probably have to reset that now. So I had it all in, it was going good, put it back together, all the bolts in place, all the screws, all the safety wires, and tightening up the vacuum line. Boop. That sucks. Trying to tell how this was put on here. There's some heat marks around it, so I thought maybe it was welded, but I'm scared to get any heat on this because of the diaphragm inside. So I think this is a job for JB Weld. Let's have a look at it again. There, it pulls it. Awesome. It's holding pressure. Fantastic. Very gently we're going to attach this. It has to be airtight, but we don't want it to be breaking off again. Right in here is a bit of a scale. We're gonna try and put it on the middle. See, when you tighten this, it either advances, that going that way, or retards going that way. So we're gonna set it in the middle, and then we're gonna set the timing, and then we can adjust from there. Now the rotor can go back on. And then the distributor cap. Now we have to set the timing. Way down there is the mark and the pointer, and we have it close by bumping the engine around. Now I have it in 4th gear, and I'm just kind of pushing the car back and forth. I want it about there. So about a 1/2 inch before top dead center. So we have a test light. We have it grounded on that side. This side's going to touch the terminal out here. We're going to turn the timing adjustment knob that's on the end of the vacuum advance until the light comes on. Bing, there we go. So that's the static timing setting. This should get us started, and it should allow the engine to run at least. If you just can't wait till our next YouTube video to see what we've been up to, you can check us out on social media. We have new accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course a website. Links are down below. If you want to come along on the ride as we complete this project, click the subscribe button. If you want YouTube to tell you every time there's a new video, click the alarm bell. Thanks for watching, and your support is very much appreciated.